M. Night Shyamalan might be one of the most confusing directors ever, and I don't mean he's mysterious with his movies or anything good like that. If you ask me who my all-time favorite director is in 2001, I might very well have answered M. Night Shyamalan. Essentially, he broke out onto the film scene in 1999's The Sixth Sense, which upon recent viewing holds up today. He followed it up just over a year later with Unbreakable, a film that many like just as much as Sixth Sense, and some, like myself, prefer to The Sixth Sense. It seemed as though Shyamalan was the real deal, a truly talented director who had a bright future ahead of him. Then came Signs, a film that many people are divided on. Some hate it, some love it. My take on it is rather simple. It's the purest example of style over substance I can think of. It is possible to sit down and turn off your brain and thoroughly enjoy this movie. But if you spend any time actually thinking about the story, the movie falls apart. And it falls apart hard. His next film, The Village, is a great example of a pointless movie. A movie that is completely dependent on the twist ending that it's obviously leading to. Granted, he was known for his twist ending, so making a movie entirely dependent on a twist doesn't really seem like a bad move for Shyamalan. Problem is, the twist in The Village almost doesn't count as a twist. It just kinda happens, and its impact on the story isn't all that big. Then came a milestone in his career. The Lady in the Water was a movie with some interesting ideas. I like the idea of tackling a fairy tale with the same tact he handled horror with The Sixth Sense and comic books in Unbreakable, but what we got was just a huge pile of pretentious crap. He always used bizarre camera work, which honestly didn't always work, but in his best movies, it never distracted from the story. Here we see it at its worst. We also see what he thinks of the negative reviews of his previous two films by his inclusion of a critic character who is a dick, and ends up being wrong in almost everything he says, and is killed.
It's precisely the moment where the mutation or beast will attempt to kill an unlikable side character. But the unlikable character will narrowly escape his encounter and be referenced again later in the story, having learned valuable lessons.
Some of the most subtle mockery of a critic since 1998's Godzilla. And of course, he casts himself as a revolutionary writer whose work will change the world.
Your book will be the seeds of many of his great thoughts. Be the seeds of change.
This film was a milestone because it became clear what happened to Shyamalan. He was so praised for The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, and even Signs, that he felt he knew how to make a movie better than anyone else. He let the idea of being the next Spielberg go to his head. The Happening was another step downward for Shyamalan, but to be honest, I really enjoy this movie. Sadly, it's not for any reasons I should. The best part of the movie is Mark Wahlberg's terrible performance.
Just going to talk in a very positive manner, giving off good vibes. We're just here to use the bathroom, and then we're just gonna leave.
The great thing about Wahlberg is that he's capable of turning in great performances, but when he's bad, he's equally enjoyable in all the wrong ways. Shyamalan is probably the only filmmaker I can think of that has ironically entertaining movies and genuinely entertaining movies on his filmography. It would be like if Tommy Wiseau directed The Room and Poltergeist.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Then came the movie that many consider the pinnacle of Shyamalan's suck phase. The Last Airbender essentially took the bare bones of the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender and drained all the characters of life. But that's cool. It's not like those characters were fun or entertaining in any way. It's not like these are beloved characters with a huge fan base. Oh wait. After Earth is another movie I enjoy, but in all the wrong ways. It's not as much fun as The Happening though, and I almost want to give Shyamalan a pass for it. I can't because he did co-write and direct it, but this film was clearly a Will Smith vanity project. The worst thing about this movie has to be the fact that Will Smith is one of the most charismatic actors out there, yet he literally created a character for himself with no charisma whatsoever.
You weren't ready.
I'm hungry. I'm going to my room.
Are you asking me or telling me?
May I go to my room, sir?
Denied! Sit down!
Lastly, we come to The Visit, his first unironically passable film since Signs. It's not particularly good and I have no desire to watch it again, but in the theater I did have fun with it. Does this mean Shyamalan has made a comeback? Are we now eagerly awaiting M. Night Shyamalan to release his next movie to see what awesomeness he has in store? I wish I could say yes, but The Visit wasn't nearly good enough for me to be confident in his future. It certainly isn't a comeback, because to be a comeback, it would have to be at the same or similar quality to The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable. It's very much not a comeback for him. But I will say this, it is a step in the right direction. Hopefully his next movie is another step forward. Or, let's hope, at least if it's a step backwards, he'll get Mark Wahlberg back.
What? No.
Hey, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And if you really love this video, consider visiting my Patreon page.